In the world of things that play with your mind, the drinking bird stands out. To activate it, just let it take one sip. Then, it's off for hours, even days of non-stop rocking, dipping and pecking at the water, frantically and relentlessly. The glass bird swings tirelessly. Time goes by and clearly has no effect on the bird, which keeps dipping its head into the container, always, continuously. And I'm exhausting myself by doing nothing while I wait. You might think that to make it all stop, you just have to remove the glass. But no, nothing works, nothing stops it. The bird just does as it pleases, continuing to headbutt the air. As long as its head is wet, the bird bows down, and the Chinese water torture would keep it going continuously. Have we found here a perpetual motion machine, that is, a movement capable of lasting indefinitely without any external input of energy or matter? Well, no, because the bird sways and changes its pace according to the atmospheric conditions. Because this thing is what we call a heat engine, that is, a machine powered by changes in temperature, humidity, or pressure in the air. Let me explain. The bird is made up of two glass reservoirs connected by a tube, and inside there is a volatile liquid. The bird's head is encased in felt that absorbs water when its beak is dipped into the water. Then the magic happens. Imperceptibly, the water evaporates, which slightly cools the gas inside the head. As the gas contracts, it creates a vacuum, a suction, which draws the liquid up into the tube. The bird becomes unbalanced, tips forward, dips its beak, and gets wet again. The liquid flows back down into the lower part and the bird straightens up. Inside, the gas pressure equalizes and evaporation resumes. Nothing funny here, just barely enough to make you impatient for it to start again. To see it come down, you just have to wait until there's no more water in the container. Or you can also lower the temperature to stop evaporation, dry its head, or cover it with a bell jar. Here, the atmosphere slowly becomes saturated with water, eventually halting both evaporation and the bird. The best part is that this principle led us to invent the Beverly clock. Beverly, a clock that hasn't been worn since it was built in 1864 and still works today thanks to changes in atmospheric pressure and temperature. Then there's also the Atmos clock, whose hands turn thanks to the air around it. To put it simply, in this clock, there's a gas inside the membrane that expands when the temperature rises. Like when you place a bottle with a balloon on top in hot water, the balloon inflates. In this clock, the membrane acts on a spring that will continuously power the pendulum, and a simple 1 degree variation can make it run for 2 days. With such a small energy source, it was necessary to design a mechanism with as little friction as possible. To get an idea of the achievement, 60 million Atmos clocks together would need less energy to run than a 15-watt light bulb. And again, this is not perpetual motion, because if you remove the atmosphere, the clock stops. Newton said, searching for perpetual motion is trying to get something from nothing. This pendulum, mesmerizing as it is, perfectly illustrates energy dissipation. With this object, when a ball is released, it hits its neighbor and transfers almost all the energy it gained during its fall. This neighbor can't move because it's stuck between two balls. In turn, it transfers almost all the energy to its neighbor. And so on until the opposite end of the pendulum, where the last ball, which isn't blocked, uses almost all the transmitted energy. As if it had just been directly hit by the first ball, it rises to a height slightly lower than at the beginning, and so on, before coming to a complete stop. If all the first ball's energy transferred along the path, we'd have perpetual motion, but friction causes much energy loss. Air resistance slows it, attachments creak, the whole setup wobbles, and the system isn't isolated, causing significant loss. So lower your expectations, the last ball won't rise as high as the first. The cool thing about this pendulum is that you can mix it up and try out all the possible configurations. Tick, tock. When you release 2 balls at the same time, on the other side, 2 balls start moving. Tick 2, tock 2. When you launch 3 balls at the same time, it's the 2 remaining balls that go up, along with the first ball that hit them. Tick 3, tock 3, and so on. Tick 4, tock 4. It swings to the rhythm of collisions and energy transfers. And then, if you drop a ball from each side at the same height at the same time, they bounce off the one in the middle, which stays still, unmoved. The same applies to 2 balls. The center stays still, like steel, while energy dissipates and moves back and forth like a yo-yo. With 3 on one side and 2 on the other, it's tick 2, tock 3, tick 2, tock 3, tick 2, tock 3. Here's what happens when we drop 2 balls and break it down in slow motion.
Ball number 2 hits the third and stops. The third passes the motion to the fourth to the fifth, and the fifth, with no ball left to stop it, starts to rise. A fraction of a second later, ball number 1 hits ball number 2 and transfers its energy to it. A sequence repeats until limb 4 rises in the rate of the fifth.
Afterwards, if you want to spend your Sundays looking for a perpetual motion machine, just know that after receiving so many papers on the subject and handing back assignments with a 0 grade, the Academy of Sciences decided in 1775 to reject any paper on the subject, since, according to them, it needlessly wastes the time, talent and fortune of ingenious mechanics. If you want to get hit by an asteroid, go here. If you want to travel 900 times faster than a fighter jet, go there.